dear students, welcome you all. In the last class, we have discussed in detail about the significant test. What is the significant test and what is it we are going to get by doing this significant test. And also we have seen how to test the hypothesis, how to test the hypothesis by using z-test. Okay, so before going to the today's class, I like to give you some brief about what is that z-test and how we have tested the hypothesis. Okay, so when it comes to z-test, so what is the main criteria to go with this z-test, where we have to look at the number of samples. We have to look at the number of samples. So how many number of samples we have tested from the population. So if the sample size we are testing from the population, so if it is greater than 30, where we are going with this z-test. And what is that other criteria, where the problem where it should be about the population mean. Okay, so this is the basic criteria. So before selecting the or before choose to go with this z-test. Before choose to go with this z-test. Understand? So, and after selecting or after identifying the z-test, where we have to set our hypothesis. This is a very, very important thing you need to understand. So how to set the hypothesis? Already you know what is this hypothesis. So what is this hypothesis? Hypothesis is a kind of assumption. Hypothesis is a kind of assumption. Hypothesis is nothing but assumption. That means you are assuming something about the evidence provided by the data, about the population, and after assuming, we are going to test our hypothesis, and finally we are going to give the conclusions, whether we are accepting the that is null hypothesis or we are accepting the alternative hypothesis. Understand? And in the last class, we have seen to a few more problems related to this z-test and how to use the formulas depending upon the values given in the problem, and then we have solved the problem, and finally we have commented on what is that, whether the evidence provided by the data about the population is okay or it is not okay. So likewise we are going to proceed with this z-test, and by doing so, what we are concluding at the end is we are going to give the statistical inference about the data or whatever the evidence provided by the sample measurement about the population parameter, we are going to assess it. So this is what the z-test, and we have seen in detail in the last class. Okay. So today's class we are going to discuss about the another significant test or testing of hypothesis by using this t-test. Okay. So in this test also, where we are going to proceed as like the same way in case of z-test. But the main criteria here is where the sample size is a main criteria. So if the sample size is less than 30, or equal to 30, where we are using this t-test. Understand? So today's class we are going to discuss in detail about what is this t-test and how we are going to use this t-test to give the statistical inference about the evidence, whatever the evidence which is provided by the sample measurement from the population parameter, that is which we have selected from the population. This is what we are going to discuss in today's class, and also we are going to discuss few more problems where those problems are related to the practical applications which we took from the textiles, like manufacturing sectors, and by whatever the data we have, and how to give that, how to do that assessment by using this t-test. Understand? So, if you look at the application, as I told you already, the statistical inference we are going to give about the production or about the quality of the products which we have produced. That statistical inference we are going to give. So, which is very, very important, So, and that gives us a clarity about the whatever the products which we have produced. Understand? So, this is what we are going to discuss in detail in this today's presentation. Okay. Now, so let us move on to the presentation. Okay. So, before going to the presentation, so as you already know, we will be discussing initially about, so what are the different objectives you are going to get. So, the objectives of the today's presentation is, this t-test is to provide the knowledge on significant test and its importance. So, this is the main objective of the today's presentation, and the outcome you are going to get at the end of this presentation is, you will be able to understand and perform the t-test. You will be able to understand and perform the t-test to assess the evidence provided by the data about some claim concerning about the population. So, this is what you are going to get the outcome at the end of this presentation. Okay. Now, so before going to start with this t-test directly, so I like to give you some inputs about this statistical inference. So, statistical inference. Okay. So, if you look at this statistical inference, okay. So, whatever it may be, the data we are having, how we are getting the data? By, there is a population, say for example, we have produced 1000 garments, and from the 1000 garments, we have selected few samples, say for example, 20 samples we have selected, and for the 20 samples, we have tested for its fastness property. Now, whatever the test results we have, that is nothing but our data. So, by looking at the data, where we are going to claim about the population quality, that is the 1000 garments quality. Is it right? So, in this process, where we are using the statistics, or we are using the statistical inference by doing the testing of hypothesis. Understand? By doing this testing of hypothesis is also one of the way to tell about the population quality. Understand? So, in the process of giving the getting the statistical inference or giving the statistical inference, generally there are two ways. One is estimation. Already we have discussed about that estimation in our earlier classes. What do you mean by estimation? Where there is a population, we need to know certain parameters about the population which we don't know. So that what we are doing, we are selecting few samples from the population, and by measuring the samples from the population, we are going to estimate the unknown population parameters. From the sample selected from the population. So, based on the sample results, we are going to estimate the population parameter. Say for example, the population parameter which we want to know is strength. So, for that strength, what is the mean strength and what is the mean variance, what is the variance of the entire population we are going to estimate. So, that is one way of statistical inference. And the second way is like this testing of, the testing of hypothesis. So, as you already know, so what we are doing in this testing of hypothesis, where we don't know. So actually this is quite different from the estimation. This is quite different from the estimation. So here what we are doing, so we are going to assess, this is the main thing, we are going to assess the evidence provided by the data. So we are going to assess, understand? So we are going to assess the evidence provided by the data. So some claim concerning the population, So about the population, whatever the data we have, we are claiming it. Okay, so the population quality is good or the population quality is poor. This is what the claim we are getting or we are making. Understand? So, and you are having a claim about your population. Understand? So, how you are going to assess it? You have to assess, na? So, without assessment, simply you cannot claim anything. Understand? So, that assessment part we are going to do with this significant test or testing of hypothesis. So, testing of hypothesis. So, which we have discussed in the last class. Okay. So, in this testing of hypothesis, what we are doing generally? So, we are making an assumption. So, what do you mean by the hypothesis? What do you mean by this hypothesis? So, hypothesis is nothing but an assumption. Hypothesis is nothing but an assumption. So, that means we are assuming something about the population results. That means where the population quality is good. That means whatever we have produced, it is of good quality based on the sample results. So that is nothing but H naught. That means this is null hypothesis. So always we are assuming the null hypothesis as everything is same or everything is equal. That means the estimated value, that is the estimated value about the population is equal to the obtained value from the sample results. So everything is same. So that means, say for example, I will give you one example. So being an manufacturers, so you wish to produce 40s count yarn. So accordingly you have made all the settings right from blow room to the ring frame, and finally you have got the that particular shift production, and you have produced 1000 kgs of yarn in that shift, say for example. So what you are estimating? You are estimating that the yarn count which you want to produce is 40s. This is your estimation. And after producing that yarn in that particular shift, what we are doing, so to know whether the 40s count we have produced or not, what we are doing is, we are taking some samples. We are taking some samples from the shift, that is whatever the shift we have produced the yarn. After selecting the samples, we are doing testing. We are doing testing of count. So you found that the average test results, that is the average of the yarn count from the samples, say for example you have selected 40 samples. From the 40 samples, you have selected from the 1000 kgs of, you have selected from this 1000 kgs of yarn. From 1000 kgs of yarn is nothing but your, this is nothing but your population. This is nothing but your population. So from this population, you have selected 40 leaves, we can say in the form of leaves we have selected. Understand? This 40 leaves we have tested. And finally we found that the yarn count is 38.5. Yarn count is 38.5. Now, how can you say that whatever the estimated count you wish to produce is same as that of this one. Simply by looking at the values, you cannot reject it. You cannot reject your entire production. That means it is not in the required quality. You have to assess it. You have to assess it. So, in that assessment process, where we are taking this hypothesis help, and we are setting the hypothesis like assumption. That means the estimated count is equal to the count which we are getting after sample measurement or after production of samples. That means both are same. And when it comes to another hypothesis, which is nothing but the alternative hypothesis, that is H1. So, how we are setting the H1? Already you know H0 is the null hypothesis. That means everything is same, all are equal. When it comes to alternative hypothesis, the name itself you can understand, this is an alternate. So, how can we take the estimated one is not equal to the one which we have produced. So, if it is not equal to in the sense, sometimes this may be greater than this or sometimes this may be less than the produced one. Sometimes it may be less than the produced one. Understand? So, likewise, we are going to set our assumptions, both null as well as alternative hypothesis, and after setting the assumptions, so depending upon the information given in the problem about the population, where we are going to choose the right test to be proceed. Already you know the criteria how to proceed with the Z test. When it comes to T test is our today's topic. So, how we are going to do is, where the main criteria is the sample size and then population mean. Understand? So, as I told you already, so when it comes to this T test, where the criteria is where the sample size, it should be less than or equal to 30. Sample size should be less than or equal to 30. And the claim about the population is, that is population mean. So, if these two things are there in a problem, where you can use this T test for statistical significance. Understand? To assess the statistical significance. Okay. Now, if you look at the T test, the first criteria is the small sample test, which we also call it as T test. That means the sample size is less than or equal to 30. And the first criteria we are going to discuss is the small sample test for the population mean. Small sample test for the population mean, that is T test. Okay. Now, so what is the criteria, or as I told you already, so when we have to use this T test. So whenever, if you are using this T test in the sense, where we should look at what is given in the problem, or what is that information we are having. So the information is the size of the sample is small. The size of the sample is small, and the interest is to test the hypothesis of the following type. So what is it following type? Where it is related to mean of only one population. Mean of only one population. So next we are going to see about the mean of two populations. That time we will discuss that later. That time we will discuss in detail. So here we are going to discuss about the mean of only one population. So altogether, where it is about population mean, whereas the sample size is small. That means the n value is less than or equal to 30. And this is the criteria, and this is another criteria. If you are whatever the claim which is there, if it is related to population mean. Understand? So this is it. Now, and here is the entire process, how to test our hypothesis using this small sample test, or if our concern is related to testing mean of only one population. So here is the entire procedure, right from how to test or how to set our hypothesis and what formulas we need to use, and how to proceed with this t-test. So understand carefully. So this is also as similar to z-test. This is also similar to z-test. Only thing is the formula is going to change. Understand? Now you see, suppose x is a variable of the population under study. X is the variable of population under study. That may be anything. That may be about the strength of the yarn you have produced, about the count of the yarn you have produced, about the twist per inch of the yarn you have produced, about the fastness properties of dyed fabric. That may be anything. It is a variable about the population. Okay. And then, as I told you already in our previous classes, this mu, you have to use some notations to represent the population as well as sample parameters. So here, this mu we are using to represent the population mean. And sigma we are using to represent the population standard deviation. So in the same way, the sigma square we are using to represent the population variance. So this you need to be very, very clear. Otherwise, even though you are choosing the formula, you are unable to substitute the values in that formula. The same way, this is with respect to population. With respect to this sample is concerned, where the mean, this is nothing but the mean we are representing with x bar, this is sample mean. Understand? And the same way, S we are using to represent the sample standard deviation, and in the same way we are using this S square to represent the sample variance. These notations you should be very, very clear. Unless and until if you don't clear with these notations, it is difficult for you to understand the and solve the problems. Okay. Now if you look at here, where we are representing the mean, which is nothing but mu, and sigma is the standard deviation of the variable x, where this variable x of the population under study. So there is a population, say for example 1000 kgs of yarn you have produced, that is your population, and you want to know the linear density of yarn you have produced. This linear density is nothing but the variable x, and whatever this mu and sigma is nothing but population mean and standard deviation. Understand? And then mu naught is the expected value about the population mean. That means before starting the production, I am assuming that, or I am expecting that I want this linear density. Without estimating, you cannot start doing the production process. Na? As such, you cannot continue your production process. So mu naught is the expected value of population mean mu. And then thus the interest is to test the hypothesis where we are setting our null hypothesis. So null hypothesis always we are representing with H naught. You can see here mu is equal to mu naught. That means what? The expected value about the population is same as that of what we have produced. Understand how we are setting our null hypothesis. The expected value about the population is same as that of the values we are getting from the sample measurement. And here, how we are representing this alternative hypothesis? We are representing with H1. You see how we are representing? This is mu is not equal to mu naught. That means the obtained value about the population is not equal to the estimated one, is not equal to the estimated. If it is not equal to, that may be less than and that may be greater than. That may be less than or that may be greater than. So, this we have to set the hypothesis, whatever the information which is given as per the problem, or whatever the information which we are getting from the sample measurement. Okay, so for testing the hypothesis, if it is the sample size small n is small sample, where the concern is about the population mean, so where we have to use this statistic t, which is defined as t is equal to x bar minus mu naught, t is equal to x bar minus mu naught divided by s divided by square root of n. This is the formula. So, only one formula we are using, okay, there is no another formula, just like z test. So, what is this x bar means? I told you already x bar is nothing but sample mean. And what do you mean by mu naught? Mu naught is nothing but your expected nominal value or expected or nominal value. Understand? And now what is x here? S is nothing but sample standard deviation. And what is small n here? Small n is nothing but sample size. So, whatever the information which you are having, that is whatever the evidence which you are having about the population, so from that we have to see what sort of information is given. So, whether the sample mean is given or not, whether the expected value about the population mean is there or not, and we have to substitute the all values in this formula. Okay. And you can see the sample mean is nothing but summation of all the, that is the data values divided by total number of samples. And if the S value is not given directly, where you can use this formula to find out the S values, that is 1 by n minus 1 into summation of xi square minus n into x bar square. Understand? So, by using this formula, you can estimate the population, that is sample variance. Understand? So, this is the thing. And finally, S is nothing but square root of estimation, that is square root of SS square. Okay. So, this is how we need to arrive at these values. So, and then after finding out this t value, after finding out the t value using that formula, where we have to accept or reject our hypothesis. So, whether we can accept our null hypothesis, either we can reject our null hypothesis. And what is the criteria for that? And how we have to decide whether to accept or reject the hypothesis. Okay. So, in the process of decision making, where these are the conditions. And even in the last class also, I told you in detail about the probability density curve, which you can see here. So, this is the probability density curve, where in this, there is a region, so which is nothing but critical region. If the statistic, whatever the statistic, what here it is nothing but the t. If the statistic falls under this region, then we are going to reject our null hypothesis. So, this region we are representing with alpha generally, alpha. So, in this process of decision making, so where there are two things we need to consider, whether it is two-tailed or whether it is one-tailed. So, two-tailed in the sense, both the sides we have the critical regions. This is two-tailed. So, both the sides here and here we have the critical regions. So, generally this critical region we are representing with alpha, critical regions we are representing with alpha. So, in case of two-tailed test, both the sides we have critical regions. That is why what we are doing is, so this is alpha by 2 and this is alpha by 2. If you add this alpha by 2 and alpha by 2, so what we are getting? We are getting alpha only. That means we are just dividing this alpha. Understand? So, whatever the statistic t, if it falls under this critical region where, so what will happen? Where we are going to reject our null hypothesis. If you are rejecting your null hypothesis, obviously you are accepting your alternative hypothesis. And what is this acceptance region? You can see here, this is nothing but 1 minus alpha, 1 minus alpha. Okay. So, all these things we have discussed in the last class itself, and this alpha, whatever this alpha is there, whatever the alpha is there, which is related to this, level of significance. So, depending upon the level of significance, given in the problem where we have to use this alpha. Suppose if level of significance is 5%, that means what is the alpha value? Alpha value is 5 divided by 100, that is equal to 0.05. Understand? Now you see, so here we have some other information also about this rejection criteria. So here if you see, the statistic t is expected to follow the t probability distribution with n minus 1 degrees of freedom, that is t n minus 1. Okay. So hence the rejection criteria for the null hypothesis, which is nothing but the critical region, will be given as follows. Where the case 1, if you see, we are going to reject the null hypothesis H0 at 100 into alpha bar, that is percent level of significance H1, that is mu is not equal to mu naught. That means if you are rejecting your null hypothesis, obviously you are accepting your alternative hypothesis if the condition is the t calculated value is greater than the table value, So what is this calculated value? In the last slide we have seen the t formula, how to find out the t statistic, x bar minus mu divided by s by square root of n. So that is the formula. By using that formula, we are calculating the t statistic. After calculating the t statistic, we are going to compare with the table values, with these degrees of freedom, and depending upon what tail it is. Understand? So this is what the thing. In case of two-tail test, since both the regions we have critical region, both the sides we have critical regions, where the degrees of freedom, that is t n minus 1 alpha by 2. So depending upon the level of significance, we are taking the alpha value, and this alpha value we are putting here, and altogether this value we are looking at the table. I will show you how to see the value in table, and after looking at the value from the table, we have to compare it. We have to compare these two values. Say for example, the calculated value is 4, and the table value, from the table you have find out the value, and it is 6. So which one is more? The table value is more. This is the calculated. The table value is more and the calculated value is less. In this case, we can accept our H0. Suppose the table value, the calculated value you got is 4 and the table value is 2. So which one is more here? Where our calculated value is more than the table value, and here this is the criteria. So in this case, what we can do? We can reject this null hypothesis. If you are rejecting this null hypothesis, obviously you are accepting your alternative hypothesis. So this is the thumb rule you have to understand, otherwise you cannot make a decision about the population, that is evidence provided by the sample measurement about the population. Okay, so hope you understand this. So till now we are discussing about this. We are discussing about what is the t-test and how to find out the t-statistic using the formula, and what is that acceptance and rejection criteria. So about the t. Okay. So this is the first case. Okay. When it comes to second case, so when it comes to the second case, so here in second case what we are doing, where the rejection of null hypothesis at this level of significance, where we are doing it, here you can see greater than. The earlier case, it is mu is not equal to mu naught. So depending upon the information given in the problem, we have to select whether it is two-tail test or whether we have to use one-tail test. With respect to two-tail test, where the rejection region or the critical region will be at two sides. That's why it is named as two-tail test. So always in two-tail test, where equal to only will be there. So mu is equal to mu naught or mu is not equal to mu naught. Equal to or not equal to. So if that is the case, you have to use this two-tail test. Two-tail test. When it comes to one-tail test, that means either the population mean may be greater than, it may be greater than the expected value, or this mean may be less than the expected value. It may be greater than the expected value or it may be less than the expected value. So if that might be the case, you have to use the one-tail test. Why I am giving you, why I am just pointing out this information is, so where while you are looking at the table, T table, you have to look at either one-tail or two-tail values. So in that case, so where this information is very, very useful for you. Okay. Now, so you can see here, so when it comes to this one-tail test, so this is the probability density curve. Now you can see the rejection region or the critical region is only at right hand side. So this we can also call it as right tail test. Okay. Now you can see it's the rejection region we are representing only with alpha here. Why? Because there is only one side. Okay. And the acceptance region, it becomes 1 minus alpha. The same thing here. So whatever this t n minus 1 alpha, this is what we need to use while looking at the table. N is nothing but sample size. Okay. So 1 is nothing but, say for example, t. So samples we have 20 is there, say for example, 20 minus 1. Alpha, I told you what? It is related to level of significance. If level of significance is 5%, what is that alpha value? 5 divided by 100, it becomes 0.05. So in the table, at this level of significance, that is 0.05, and at this degrees of freedom, you have to get this t table value. I will show you in one of the examples. Okay. So this is about this right tail. In the same way, we have the another case to accept or reject, which is nothing but this left tail test. Left tail. That's why here you can see the critical region is at left hand side. Okay, and we are representing this critical region with alpha only. And what is the rejection criteria? See, t n minus 1 into alpha. Understand? So you have to look at these table values based on this degrees of freedom and level of significance. Understand? So afterwards you are going to compare the t calculated value versus t table value. So based on this comparison, we are going to accept or we are going to reject our null hypothesis. Okay. Now, so here you can see the example. here you can see one example here where you can easily understand. So what is this? What is this t-test and how to set the hypothesis and how to compare with the table value to make the decision. So the nominal linear density of a yarn spun during a shift is 14 ticks. That means the expected value of linear density in that particular shift is 14, but the sample of 15 leads tested has shown the average linear density of 14.8 ticks and CV percentage of 2.5 ticks. So from the sample results, can we say that the production of shift is of required linear density? So that means what? The population, that is in a shift, we are expecting to produce 14 ticks yarn, 14 ticks count of yarn, but after the production 15 leaves have been tested, which shows the average linear density of 14.8 and then at a CV percentage of 2.5%. So from the sample results, can we say that whatever the production we have is of required quality or not? So by looking at this problem, so what is that information which is given that we have to identify? So here what is that variable? The variable x is nothing but linear density of yarn. And what is the population here? The population is nothing but yarn spun during a shift. And so we have to look at what is the sample size. So this n is nothing but 15. So obviously it is less than 30. That is one criteria it has been satisfied. And see the average linear density, that means this is about population mean. So we can confirm that. So we can go for the small sample testing. So then we have to set our hypothesis, H0 and then H1. Okay, H0 and H1. While setting this H0 and H1, you have to see, so what is it we need to conclude? So what is it we need to conclude? Can we say that the production of shift is of required linear density? So that means that may be same, that is the production is same as that of the expected one, or the production is not same as that of the expected one. Two things only, equal to or not equal to. So that means which tail we have to use? We have to go with this two-tail test. Two-tail test. Suppose if it is, can we say that the production of shift is greater than the expected one? In that case, we have to use one tail. That may be left hander, that may be right hand side. Understand? So this is what you need to understand. Okay. So now you see the mu is equal to 14. That means the expected value is same as that of the produced one, and alternative hypothesis mu is not equal to 14. That means expected value is not equal to the produced samples. And then we are using this formula. So x bar minus mu divided by s by square root of n. So here what is this x bar? So x bar is given in the problem, that is 14.8, and mu, that is estimated mean, that is 14 is given, and what is s? Sample standard deviation. Do you think sample standard deviation is given? No. Instead of that, what information is given? Where sample variance, coefficient of variation is given, that is CV percentage is given. So from the CV percentage, we need to find out the S value, and already we know the sample size small n. So after substituting all the values, where we are going to get this T, that is T statistic, that is T calculated value. Now you see, after getting this values like C, so what information is there with us? So here we have the sample mean is there, CV percentage is there. From the CV, there is a formula, standard deviation by mean into 100. There is a formula. So standard deviation, this we don't know. We know the CV percentage and we know the X bar. So from this, we are finding out the S value. And after finding out the S value, we are substituting in this T formula. That is, X bar is 14.8 minus mu naught is 14, S by square root of n. And finally, we are arriving at the T value, that is T calculated value is 8.08. T calculated is 8.08. Now, so in the problem, is there anything about the value about the level of significance? It is not given. So you can assume that level of significance at 5%. So at 5% level of significance, alpha value is obviously 0.05. And so in order to find out the value in table, what is that criteria? We are taking the degrees of freedom n minus 1. Since it is two-tail test, two-tail, that is alpha by 2. So T n minus 1 comma alpha by 2. So T, what is the n value? 15 minus 1. What is the alpha? 0.05 divided by 2. That means T 14 comma 0.025. So T at 14 degrees of freedom at 0.025 significance, that is rejection, where we have to see the table value. Now you can see next to this problem where we have this table I have kept. Now in the table, in this first column we have this degrees of freedom, and in the next column and all it is about the level of significance. Here you can see one tail test is there and two tail test is there. So you have to, unless and until if you don't identify from the problem, if it is two tail or one tail, you cannot choose the right value here. So that's why I told you in the beginning itself. So this information given in the problem is about equal to or not equal to. So obviously it is two tail test. Now what is it degrees of freedom here? 14. So at degrees of freedom 14, what is the level of significance? 0.025. So where is 0.025? 0.02025. Now you can see. Now you can see. This is 2.145. Okay, so 2.145. Now, likewise we have to see these values. Okay. Now, the table value is 2.145. The calculated value is 8. So, which one is higher? Obviously, the calculated value is more. So that what we are doing is, we are rejecting the H0 and we are accepting H1. That means what? The average linear density of yarn produced during the shift is not 14, which means that the quality is not as per the requirement. So you wish to produce 14 ticks, but unfortunately due to some process parameters, wrong selection of process parameters, or due to some error in the processing, what happened is you have produced some other quality. So this is how we are assessing the evidence provided by the sample data which we selected from the population. And this is how you need to look at the values, in this two-tail test, in this two-tail and then one-tail test, Understand? So this is one example. And the next one is, so this is also same as that of the previous one. So you see here. So instead of giving the sample mean, where the sample individual values were given, like 14, 15 and all. How many samples? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sample size is, n is 10 only. So obviously it is small sample. And now you can see we can use this formula and we can use the same kind of solution we are finding out this t value. Sorry. Okay, so we are finding out this t values. So t is, even though if you are getting in minus, you have to put that modulus so that it is always plus, and we are using this degrees of freedom like this thing, and we are looking at the table, the value is 2.62, that is 2.26. We are comparing these two things, and the whatever the calculated value which is less, table value is more, so we are accepting our H naught. So likewise we have to go with this t testing. Okay, and then you can see earlier till now we have discussed about only one population, and this is the case where two populations will be there. Two populations. So by looking at these two populations, where we have to do the testing. Like you can see here, means of two different populations. The sample size is small only, but the means of two populations are there in the study. Now you can see this is how we need to take the statistic. Like you see, mu is equal to mu naught, and mu1 is not equal to mu2. Or mu1, it may be greater than or it may be less than. Understand? So here you can see this is the statistic we need to use. So t is equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar by s into square root of 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2. n1 and n2 are nothing but sample size of population 1 and sample size of population 2. Okay, that's it. And then you can see, so this is the small formulas, depends on the information given, we have to use it. And the same way, the reacceptance and rejection criteria from the probability density curve. In case of the two-tailed test, we have both the sides critical regions are there. In case of one-tailed test, we have only one side, the critical region will be there. So based on two-tail and one-tail, we have to look at the table values in the T. And here comes the one example. Okay, so now whatever the previous examples we did, and now if you compare with this example, it is very, very easy for you to understand the entire t-test concept. Now you see 10 ring bobbins. How many ring bobbins? 10 ring bobbins selected from the production of day shift, and 15 ring bobbins were selected from production of night shift. From day shift 10 and night shift 15, and these are the results. So average count 40. Since it is average is mentioned, we can say that it is mean only. And here it is for 39. Standard deviation is 2.5, and here it is 3.8. Now what we have to see from the sample results, is there any evidence that the yarn spun during the night shift is coarser than day shift? Yarn spun during night shift is coarser than day shift. This is what we have to assess it from the sample results. This is what we have to assess it from the sample results. So simply by looking at the given information, what you can decide which test you have to do. Sample size is both the populations, it is less than 30, and here the mean is there. So it is obviously small sample where two populations are given. So you have to, first you have to set the hypothesis, like both the shift or the yarn produced in both the shift is of same count, and the yarn produced in day shift or night shift is coarser than day shift. That is mu1 is greater than mu2. Mu1 is greater than mu2. So here we have two variables, x1 and x2 for two populations. The same way two means will be there and two standard deviations will be there. Understand? And after setting the hypothesis, we have to test it. So here only one formula, so you no need to get any confusion. So this is the formula, this is the formula. So we know x1 and x2 from the x1 bar and x2 bar from the given information in the problem, and S you need to work out, you need to find out, and n1 and n2 values are, it is there in the problem. So x1 bar is 40 and x2 bar is 39, which is there already. Standard deviation of sample 1 and standard deviation of sample 2 is given. So from that, this S square, that is variance, sample variance, we are finding out using this formula. That is, sorry, this S square is nothing but population variance. This C, this P stands for population. Now see, N1 we know, S1 square, which is nothing but standard deviation of sample 1. So all these values we are substituting, finally we are getting population variance as 12. Sometimes this population variance can be represented with sigma square also, that is, there is no problem. Okay, but here you have to see this P is there, that means population variance. After finding out these values, we have to substitute here. Since we have find out the S square as population variance, from this we are getting this, from this we are getting this S value. This S value we are substituting here, all the values, we are arriving at the statistic T as 0.63, statistic T as 0.63. So here then we have to go back to the T table. So here what is the degrees of freedom? T n1 plus n2 minus 2 comma alpha. So what is n1? We have 15 and 10, so this becomes 23. Since level of significance is 10, what is that alpha value? 0.1. So now you see at 0.1 and level of significance and 23, you can see what is the value? 1.319 at 23 degrees of freedom, and this is one tail test only, that is greater than is there, that's why it is one tail. Now see what is the value? 1.319. Now this is the table value, sorry, and what is the this is the calculated value. Now see what is the calculated value? Sorry, calculated value is less, table value is more. So what we are doing? We are accepting the H0. That means the yarn produced in both the shift is of same count. There is nothing coarser or nothing finer. That means the yarn produced in the day shift and night shifts both are of same linear density. So this is what we have to conclude by doing this testing of hypothesis. Okay. So in the same way, this example, one more example is given. You go through this example. It is very easy for you to understand if you solve this problem. So here I have given the solution part also. You please refer to the solution. Okay. So thank you. I hope you understand this concept of significant test, that is testing of hypothesis using the t-test. I just brief you for a few minutes before closing this session. So in this presentation, from the beginning to ending, we have discussed in detail about what is the criteria to choose the t-test to carry out. That is, the small sample size is less than 30 and the criteria is about population mean, and how to select, how to set the hypothesis, that is null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis, and after setting the hypothesis, how to use the formula, that is T formula, and how to find out the T values. After finding out the T value, what is that criteria to accept or reject your null hypothesis? Accept and reject your null hypothesis. In probability density curve, where two tail or one tail, depending upon that, based on the degrees of freedom and the level of significance, we are finding the T value in the table. So finally we have T calculated value and T table value. So always remember, the table value should be, the calculated value should be less than and table value should be more. So in that criteria only, you have to accept your null hypothesis. Otherwise you have to reject your null hypothesis. So we have seen for one population mean and we have seen for two population means. Okay, this is all about t-test and how to assess our evidence provided in the sample. That is about the population parameters. So hope you understand the class. Again we will meet in the next class and we will discuss about the another significant test which is about ANOVA, that is analysis of variance. Thank you.